Hello guys, how are you doing? This is Rob of Rule of Two Review. Welcome back to the channel, and it's definitely time to focus a little bit more on the next generation because, as we all know, at the Game Awards the other night, we finally saw, for the first time ever, the new next generation Xbox. We are definitely living in crazy times, and actually really exciting times. The next generation is upon us. We've known for a while now that Microsoft was going to reveal their Xbox Project Scarlet sometime soon, and that it was supposed to be launching in holiday 2020, which is 1 year from right now. And then, of course, only a couple of weeks ago, Sony finally confirmed that their next generation machine is called the PlayStation 5. What a shocker to all of us. And that it was also going to be coming out sometime in 2020. So suddenly we started to get a picture of the actual next generation that we knew was just kind of barreling towards us. We're starting to phase out of at least Sony and Microsoft's 8th generation machines, the PS4 and the Xbox One. Obviously, Nintendo and the Switch fit into this whole conversation and the generation swaps in a different and unique way, which we all understand, and I've talked about several times before. Maybe I'll make another conversation about that sometime in the next few months or what have you, as this picture starts to come together. But at the end of the day, we were still waiting to really understand what these machines were going to look like, what they were going to do, what kind of games are we going to be able to play on them, what is the next generation truly going to offer us. And, as we all know, the Game Awards did happen a couple of days ago, and it was not great, as most of us have discussed, and I talked about, of course, myself. We expected some more exciting things. We expected a better paced show, a larger focus on the actual awards and the people behind these great games, and they didn't really do that. I think that the Game Awards has been improving over the last few years, and that this year's unfortunately was a pretty big step backwards, and of course, as we know, Nintendo basically wasn't even there. Like, yes, Doug Bowser was present in the building to give a pre-scripted speech before the show started about Smash Brothers, but other than that, Nintendo was not at the show, which was also very disappointing. However, the big news, the big thing that did happen during the show was Phil Spencer and Microsoft showing everyone the new Xbox. Now, I'll be completely transparent with you guys and tell you that the Xbox One is my least favorite of all of the consoles and machines on the market right now. Obviously, I love the Switch, I love the PS4. However, even though the Xbox One is my least favorite, it is still a console that I enjoy. I really like it. I like the Xbox brand. I like what Microsoft has been doing over the last two generations, and they've obviously stumbled, and they've made some mistakes, and their machine isn't as capable, and I don't have an Xbox One X, to be fair, and I do know that the Xbox One X is a solid and great machine, and it is technically the most powerful console on the market right now. And so that's all great stuff that I'm not currently experiencing. I just have a base level Xbox One. But I don't really think that it would change anyway, because really it's Nintendo and Sony's exclusives for the most part that really sell me on those consoles and those companies more, and especially Nintendo as a lifelong diehard Nintendo fan. And because the Switch is unique and does the portable thing, that's why it's my favorite. But I still like Xbox, and I want to see it succeed. And so when they suddenly showed us the Xbox, the new console, at the Game Awards, it was very exciting, even though I caught up to the show a little bit late after they had already done that. And so what are we looking at here? What is Microsoft doing? What have they showed us so far in just the 2 days since the show? Well, they obviously revealed the new console to be called the Xbox Series X, which is not a great name. I do not love it. And as I said on Twitter, the more I thought about it, the less I liked it. And it's, launching holiday 2020 sometime next year. And of course, we know that they've also confirmed that, at least right now, the plan is for Halo Infinite to also launch alongside of it. And beyond that, Phil Spencer has done a couple of interviews and written a blog post, and, they've discussed a few of the, early on ideas and concepts that they plan to implement with the Xbox Series X. So we've seen it. We know it's a big, goofy rectangle shape. There's memes aplenty. This thing looks like a big refrigerator, and everyone's making fun of it, at least the design. And that's fine. What are my overall thoughts and impressions right now, having a new Xbox, the Series X, revealed and confirmed, and everything about the next generation? Well, beyond the fact that I'm just excited for the next generation, as I said, I'm excited for the Xbox Series X. I do have to say, I don't love the design of the console, and as I already said, really don't like the name. But I kind of don't really care about those things. I've said this in the past. A console can look like, a muddy shoe, and the name could be like the Microsoft Poopy Poop Box. And like, if it's an ugly console and it has the dumbest name in history, I don't really care, as long as the games are good, as long as the console is well built. And if the UI is interesting and engaging, and it offers features and gameplay and unique innovations and ideas that are interesting and good for the hobby of gaming. If it does those things, I don't care what it's called, and I don't care what it's look like. And I honestly think you shouldn't care about those things either. And I know that unfortunately people do. They really focus in on these things. And maybe part of the reason is because right now, the only two things we really have are the look and the name. So to be fair, we don't have too much else to kind of scrutinize and criticize and pick apart. But I just am not really concerned with a bad name or an ugly refrigerator box. I just don't care. Now, obviously, because the thing looks a little bit like a PC tower, that's something else that everyone is really focused on. Like, oh, Microsoft is just basically, they're just doubling down on the PC thing. They're basically just becoming a PC machine. Oh, remember Steam machines and how dumb those were? Now Microsoft is trying the same thing, yada, yada, yada. And my response to that is I don't really 100% think that that's as true as people are saying. I think that they're just too excited to crack a joke and sound like they're so smart for, making fun of the fact that it looks like a PC or whatever. It certainly does have a PC look, that part is clear. I'm not saying that it doesn't have that, but I don't think that Microsoft is necessarily trying to double down on this, like, it's a PC for your living room thing. I mean, I cracked a joke on the Spawncast about this, but I can't imagine that it's going to actually be a PC where it has interchangeable components within it. Like, to me, that's a PC. If it's just one uniformed box and machine that is put together with its components, and that's how every machine is sold, and that's all it can be is the way they build it in the factory, then it's not a PC. It's a home video game console, which is what we want it to be. And if we're being honest, even though I don't think the look of a console matters, and I don't even love the look of the Xbox Series X, I think it's also kind of important to note that at least they are trying to do something visually different. Like, to a degree, I kind of picture the fact, like, where would I set this thing up in my house in relation to my TV on my TV stand? And it's like, I'd have to put it off to the side somewhere, but it would probably actually maybe end up looking kind of cool. You just have this like cool little tower thing on the side. Maybe the Xbox logo lights up, or the disc drive lights up when you put something in it or whatever. And it's like, that's actually kind of cool. At least it's different. Different isn't always good by default, but at least trying something different is good, I think, in my opinion. And so, again, even though we're only talking aesthetic, I still have to appreciate them trying to kind of break the mold and do something a little bit different. The same way the Switch is different, people talk about, where am I going to put an Xbox Series X under my TV? Well, where do you put the Switch? The Switch is definitely, when it's in the dock, it's definitely taller and bigger than your average console, than any console, and you need the space to be able to lift it up off the dock. So you have to have a huge freeform amount of space above the dock wherever your Switch is hooked up. So if you figured out where you're going to put your Switch, you can figure out something for your Xbox Series X. That's just how I see it. Now, the name is interesting to me for a really big reason, and it's because I feel like the name is a little bit of a smokescreen. I think it's a little bit of a rope-a-dope, and I don't think that what we're looking at is the one Xbox Microsoft plans to sell. This is the one machine, we're putting it on the market, and the Series X is the name of this box. I think that there might be a little bit more to it, and I could be wrong, so I'm just going to put that out. This is just a theory. Maybe that is exactly what this is, and it's the one machine, and it's called the Series X, end of story. Maybe that's true, but I feel like it's not. I feel like they're really just giving us a taste of what they're trying to do, because honestly, I can't help but focus on the name Series. I feel like the Series aspect of the name means something more than what it seems like on the surface. And so maybe there's a larger game plan, and I tweeted about this as well, when I was complaining about the name, that maybe it means something different. Their game plan might be like a couple of different kinds of Xbox, and that's what the Series is. Maybe they showed the most powerful or the most ideal version, and there's the Xbox Series X, but they could do the Xbox Series S, the Xbox Series B, the Xbox Series Y, whatever they're going to, Xbox Series Blue. Maybe they're going to have some weird naming convention where the series means something different, Or Maybe they're going to have something that's not even named Series, and Series X is one model. Maybe it's the base model, maybe it's the most powerful model, and then they're going to have something completely different without Series within the name that's also supposed to mean something. And it could also have to do with the fact that this series of console is meant to, connect to the cloud in a unique way. Maybe the DRM stuff comes back. Maybe the way it integrates more seamlessly to your PC experiences, or Project X Cloud, which we know will probably be a huge focus, or Game Pass. Something might be wrapped up in the reasons that they decided to include the name Series. Because Xbox Series X just sounds bad as a console, which makes me wonder, maybe it's not supposed to be just the name of this refrigerator-shaped console. Maybe it really is something that's more speaking to the business model of the new generation of Xbox, more than the actual plastic machine model. I don't know if this is making sense, and I'm almost driving myself crazy trying to put it into coherent thoughts. So this might just sound like a bunch of gobbledygook, but this is the nature of how confusing it is of what Microsoft is doing. It's exciting, don't get me wrong, but it is also confusing, at least until they do confirm that it is the simpler idea, that it is just, this is the machine, it's called Series X, don't think about it any further. Until they confirm that, to me, it seems kind of confusing. And I'd also have to say, because I'm a pretty simple guy when it comes to this stuff and this aspect of gaming and tech, I don't really want it to be something where they've got a bunch of different models, and I don't want Series Blue, Series Y, Series X, Series Yo Mama. I don't want any of those things. I kind of just want one company to make one machine and to put that machine on the market. I already don't love that there's Pros and S's and X's out there in the current generation. And now there's a Switch and a Switch Lite. It's like, I kind of don't even love that stuff. I liked, I'm an older gamer, you guys know. I'm an 80s and 90s gamer, and so that's probably part of the reason I feel this way. But I just like the good old days when it's like, Company A puts out this machine, Company B puts out this machine, Company C puts out this machine. That's it. These machines, the one machine represents each respective company, their technology, their game library, their first-party studios, and their overall business. That's all it needs to be. I don't think we need to be complicating everything with, all these different variations of XYZ. It almost becomes, weirdly, the home console equivalent of building your own PC, right? Like a little bit, because in the PC world, there's 1,000 different variables because, 100 different PCs can be built 100 different ways. And in the home console space, even though people aren't designing their own consoles the way you would a PC, the respective companies are doing that. They're designing their own different versions and different models of their one machine. And so it does give the consumer more choice over which version of which company's machine they want to have to more customize their game experience with their buying dollar, not so much with their customization of the box themselves. And I'm just like, don't do that. Just make it one thing. And so I just hope the Xbox Series X, as bad as the name is, really just is this one machine. I think it's going to be something more. I think there's a lot more Microsoft is going to tell us about it, but that's what I want it to be. And so at this point, all we can do is just wait until we understand more, wait until they show us a lot of info, maybe, probably, hopefully at E3. And more importantly than anything, let's see some games. Let's see what this thing can really do. They showed us the Hellblade 2, which was a cool surprise. And that trailer certainly looked cool. And I know that they said it's in-engine. But something I've learned as a non-tech head, you guys know, I'm not a tech guy in any way, shape, or form. Even at, 35 years gaming, since I was a kid, I'm still not a tech head. I will say, though, what I've learned from all the years of in-engine footage, in-engine preview, trailer, beta, alpha, whatever, is that those kinds of things aren't usually indicative of what the game is actually going to play like when your controller is able to move your character around on screen at will. It's different than what they show as in-engine footage. I don't think we were looking at the character models in the actual gameplay. We were looking at essentially, a pre-scripted cutscene, probably using in-game assets, but even those are enhanced, right? Once you're no longer playing and the game moves to something else, 9 times out of 10, it's different than the same characters and environments that you're controlling when you're playing. And so, even though Hellblade looked great, and I appreciated visually what it was showing, I don't think they were showing us gameplay quality graphics. I just don't think that. If I'm proven wrong down the road, great, because I would love for games to all of a sudden look that good. And I will be happy to say that I was wrong and look at how amazing it looks. But I just don't think it is, right? I mean, if some of you guys who are more tech savvy and more up to snuff on this stuff, if you can tell me that I may be wrong and no, they were probably showing us what's likely going to be the gameplay visuals of the game, then great. Tell me. Let's talk about it. I want to hear about it. I want to learn about it. But I don't know, man. I've seen a lot of in-engine gameplay videos and demos, or not gameplay, game trailers and videos and stuff. And that's not really what the final games are, you know? So I think that they were trying to trick us a little bit with that. Anywho, these are my thoughts. This is the new stuff we have to be excited about. Xbox Series X. The next generation is coming. They still doubled down, holiday 2020, so it's a year away. Hopefully Halo Infinite sticks to that date, because that's the main reason I'm going to buy the Xbox Series X on day one, because I want to play the new Halo and I want to play the next gen version. If they do an Xbox One version, which I kind of expect, that's fine, but I won't want that. I'm going to want the next gen Series X version. That's what I'm into. So that's what's going on. It's an exciting time. There's a lot to kind of pick apart and, you know, be a little bit skeptical of, but overall, it's very exciting. I am all about this, man. Give me the new Xbox, give me the new PlayStation, and whenever Nintendo does something new, give me that too. I'm ready for the next console even after the Switch, even though the Switch still has a couple years to go still. So what do you guys think? How do you feel about the Series X? Are you excited? Are you not? Do you think it could be great? Do you think it can't be? Whatever you feel, talk about it. And with that, this video is a wrap. Thanks, of course, as always, for tuning in, guys. This is Rob of Rule of Two Review, and I'll catch you next time on another video.